Welcome to the Warning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll talk about the Kansas City Royals and their season opener and now home opener under their belts. We'll also be talking a lot, mostly about the college basketball tournament. Uh, Normally, we start the show talking about the Kansas City Chiefs news, but there really isn't anything to talk about, so we'll just jump right into college basketball today. Mike, the both tournaments, men's and women's, were very chalky, which actually flows more into more of an ideal tournament that you prefer, I think, right? Is that right? Did
Yeah,
you
I
enjoy
do want
this
to see
tournament
the
again?
I want to see the best teams win and play each other. I don't want to. I think it's better than just some team that gets hot at the right time and hasn't done very well, is it?
No,
So the women's is it's all four number one seeds in the women's final four.
yeah,
Um, UConn hasn't lost a game yet, so it seems like UConn's probably the favorite. Uh,
yeah,
I think maybe the least heralded of the number one seeds that made it is Texas, and they've looked really good in their games. So they haven't had any close games. So maybe they can sneak into the finals against if they beat UCLA, and if UConn they'll play South Carolina, their big recent rival, Don Staley, former player for Gino Auriemma. I think South Carolina they said made their sixth consecutive Final Four. So it seems like. Um, they're big powerhouse.
yeah.
This is Connecticut's maybe if Connecticut wins, it's like Orioles was his seventh undefeated national championship season or something like that. Not just seventh national
It's
championship, but seventh undefeated national championship. Um,
unbelievable, yeah.
so yeah, so I think that's I guess what we're looking for, but I guess anything can happen in the finals. But yes, it's the four best teams in has seemed to have made in the women's side, and four very strong teams in the men's side. Two number ones, a number two, and a number three. So pretty pretty highly seeded teams. I guess two teams from the Big Ten, one from the Big 12, and one from the Big East. When UConn knocked off Duke in that surprise upset. Did you watch the end of that game? Did you see how it ended?
I was not watching it live. I did not. I saw what happened the next day, so I didn't see
So for
the
some reason, Duke was
play.
panicky, and because they only had 6 seconds left, all they needed to do was hold it and wait to get fouled, basically. But they
Right.
acted like they needed to get it. They acted like they needed to get beyond half court so they could avoid a backcourt violation, but they didn't have a.
There
It
was only
was
6 seconds
six
left, so they
seconds
didn't
left, so
need
there's
to cross the half
yeah.
mark. Yeah.
I don't know what they got really panicky, and then they lost the ball, and then UConn hit a 35 foot three-pointer to win at the very end. So
Yeah.
it was just a weird ending for Duke, but a lot of people I think who don't want to see Duke succeed were happy about it. Um, but
Regardless of who's coaching them.
yeah, yeah, UConn has won two out of the last three NCAA tournaments, so looking for three out of four if they can
Hmm.
defeat Illinois and the winner of the Michigan Arizona game. Although it seems like probably the favorites are either Arizona or Michigan because they're the only two number one seeds left. So,
Yeah.
do you have a idea who you think's going to win the men's championship?
I think a lot of us had, well, in our brackets, a lot of the brackets had Arizona winning. I know I had them in one of mine anyway, and I think you had
Hmm.
several that had Arizona winning too. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we started with Arizona, probably going to stick with them, I think. Although I don't think they're actually the favorite in the first game as of now. I think the line opened with them as a 1.5 point favorites, but now it's flipped to Michigan as being a 1.5 point favorite. Does that influence how you would pick the game or the champion based on that betting lines, Mike?
I would tend to think that the opening is probably better than the closing. Was more reflective of what again, it's what Vegas thought was Arizona a little bit higher than Michigan. Michigan was I think the number three overall seed and Arizona's number two overall seed. So at least according to the way the brackets came out. So
Mhm.
you would think that Arizona would be a slight favorite. I'm not sure. I think maybe it's a lot of big Michigan money, Big Ten money that came in because we mentioned Illinois as a favorite over UConn, and Illinois was a three seed, UConn a number two seed. So a
Yeah.
little strange, maybe, especially with UConn being so successful in the tournament recently. So maybe it's a lot of Chicago area uh, betting in Vegas. Uh, Traditionally, I think I mentioned before that the you rarely want to bet on the Bears because the Bears get a bad they don't ha they get a lot of money from Chicago that bets on the Bears and only the Bears, and it messes with the lines, I think,
It ends up
in
like drifting
Vegas.
towards.
Yeah, so you don't get a great number usually when you bet on the Bears.
Mhm.
Um, at
So
least
if
compared
you
to
bet
a
on
lot
the
of
Bears, you
teams.
should bet on them as early as you can from the
Yeah,
open.
when they open,
Yeah.
probably when the yeah, or maybe they're yeah. So I don't know. I think Chicago. I don't know why it's Illinois and obviously Chicago's in Illinois, but it's somewhat close to Michigan as well. So I think of it as
Yeah.
Big Ten uh, betters
There's
that
probably
are.
a lot of wealth there too. That'd be,
Influencing it.
right.
Um,
It is like a condensed. Yeah. There is a lot of spendable money, I guess, in that area. It's not like Chicago is like a rural town, right?
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I haven't looked at the spreads in the women's side of things
Hmm.
yet, but I would guess UConn is the favorite fairly heavily out of the four teams. Probably, I would say probably they're probably 50% chance winning probably at least.
So UConn's a 6.5 point favorite over uh, South
South
Carolina
Carolina.
right now. And on the other side, Texas is a 1.5 point favorite over UCLA.
And that would be a reversal of maybe a little bit like the because UCLA was I think the number two seed going in, um, and then Texas was the number three, number one seed.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. Interested to find out. We'll know this weekend what happens in those games. Unfortunately, our alma maters, Arkansas and Iowa State, each lost in the round of 16. Arkansas losing to Arizona, who would eventually win their a region, and um, Iowa State losing to Tennessee, who got blown out by Michigan. You would think that Iowa State would have fared a lot better against Michigan, especially had Joshua Jefferson been healthy. It would have been a closer matchup, but um, still, round 16, Sweet 16 is pretty good finish for a season. Do you think Iowa State's going to be back next year? Do you think they're going to, or is this their best chance for a while, you think?
It might have been their best chance for a while because I think that was Lipsey's last season. If he was a senior for this year. Jefferson and Momcilovic are likely looking at the draft as a possibility. So I don't know how much consistency they would have from year to year if all three of those guys leave
Hmm.
at the same time. That'd be pretty tough for them to come back. But they've had a good run. The PJ Otzelberger as the coach has figured out how to get them into the tournament every year. So it's like they've been consistently good under him. But
Hmm.
if Lipsy goes, then that's which I think he has to. Then I don't know how it's going to go because he's been their like primary distributor, ball handler for the last 4 years. So it's going to be a big difference if they don't have him anymore. So I don't know. I don't really expect a whole lot out of next season. So if they can be good, it'll be a pleasant surprise. I don't know what Arkansas. How are they going to be next year? I mean, they have a solid perennial coach that
Yeah.
brings teams along as the season goes on.
Yeah, this is their straight Sweet 16. And they have, of course, their best player was Darius Acuff, who was maybe one of the top freshmen in the country. He's probably going out to the draft, so he's probably not going to be back. But it seems like Calipari can recruit major players to come to Arkansas, and they'll be fine. So I would say Arkansas is more is probably like from what compared to listening to what you said about Iowa State. I think Arkansas is probably more likely to be back, even if their best player is not going to be back. But as a team, they had a good run. And it seems like this is Calipari's only his second year at Arkansas, so his third, fourth. The longer he's there, probably the more established they'll be. So I'm sure they'll be fine. They're probably looking to build on this season and do better even next year. So I'm looking forward to that. This is a um, yeah, it's good to see Arkansas as a solid team. They were pretty good under Eric Musselman before he left to go back to the NBA. But with Calipari, he's one of the top five winningest coaches I think of all time
Yeah.
in college basketball. So yeah, he's
With deep runs and championships with like multiple schools too, not even
yeah,
just having success in one place, but success in many places.
yes, yeah. So we'll see. What happens next year. We'll see if the this was a year that it seemed like um, I thought you thought the Big 12 maybe would be poised to do a little bit better, but Houston and Iowa State both lost in the round of 16. Uh, was a little disappointing for each of those two schools. I think probably had both had sights on at least Elite Eight or maybe Final Four
Yeah.
appearances. We'll see what happens next year, especially because Houston was the runner-up last year to Florida, and they didn't make it out of their. I think they actually lost to Illinois in Houston was where the um,
Right.
regional was. So that was a kind of a sad defeat for them. Maybe they were feeling the pressure of the home crowd or something. I'm not sure, but uh,
Damn.
well, Illinois seems like they're a worthy team though. So that's why they're maybe again. You said they were favored over UConn going in. So we'll see what happens with the men's Final Four. What happens with the women's Final Four? And do you have a prediction for women for women?
Uh, it just seems like it's you.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if it's somebody else ends up winning, but I just kind of expect to see UConn there.
Yeah, that's what I think probably too.
What do you think your odds would be if you're going to say like that both UConn teams win? Because that did happen not that long ago, right? Wasn't it just a couple
Yeah.
years ago that both UConn teams won
Yeah.
in the
So
same year?
yeah, UConn, well, I would say they probably I think um the women's team probably has at least a 50% chance of winning. I would say the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe
Men's team
slightly over
probably
50%.
yeah, the men's team probably has
Just a little less than
little,
50%.
little less the men's team's probably a little less than 25. I would say a little less than 25%. So um
Yes, right.
of
Less than
what
50% in game one, and then it'd be less than that in game two. Yes. So,
Yeah, 50, yeah, I'd say Arizona and Michigan are the two favorites, then Illinois, then uh UConn's probably the number four favorite, but I would say they probably at least 20% chance of winning. So 50%, if you go 50% for UConn in the women's, 20% uh in the uh in
men's
the
side.
men's. So that's one and two times one and five. So about I guess it'd be about 10% chance of winning both.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what my guess would be.
So you're not putting a lot of money on that to double UConn win.
I could see it happening, but I wouldn't. I would guess that again the women's team's more likely to win than the men's. The
Yeah.
men's team is they've got I think a tougher or their team is maybe not as dominant as the women's team is. So they have a tougher field to go up against.
Yeah. but they just took out the overall number one in a dramatic fashion after being
Yeah, it
behind by a lot during the game and chipping away over a long period of time to get back in it to have a
and it took
chance to
kind of
win
a
it.
it took a kind of crazy set of bounces and things like that for them to win it. So you would think
Yeah.
maybe they don't. I don't. Who knows if they have it, or maybe they can ride the momentum
Maybe
forward.
they're a team of destiny now because of something like that happened. Does that
Maybe
does that affect how you would bet that though?
no, probably not. But you never know.
Momentum carrying between games is usually not a thing, right?
No, especially they have a week. Yeah, maybe if it's the day after or something, maybe you can see that. But
Oh, yeah. Anything else
well,
to add on the basketball side before we
I
shift
think we covered
gears?
most of what we have on the basketball. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Uh, so basketball is coming to an end. College basketball and Major League Baseball is just beginning this past weekend. The Royals started out in Atlanta, where they won only one out of their first three games. They lost on Friday, Saturday, and then they won on Sunday. Then they also won their opening day game at home against Minnesota. So now they're 2-2 on the year. So on pace for an 81-81 season, which is close to what we thought they would be. We were hoping a little bit better than that. But really, watching the games, it seems like the Royals probably should be 3-1 at this point. They lost a game in heartbreaking fashion to the Braves, where they were up 2-0 going to the ninth inning and lost 6-2 on a walk-off grand slam that um, Carlos Estevez surrendered. And he seems to be somebody that's maybe not in the best shape right now. Um, are, so what's your initial impression of the Royals after these first few games? Do you think they are a potential playoff team by now, or is it just too early to tell anything?
It's pretty early to tell. Their offense didn't seem to be too awake yet. I think they scored about 4 runs and almost exactly 4 runs or less, I guess, in every game.
Hmm.
Uh, but pitching wise, they've been pretty solid, minus that 1/3 of an inning that Estevez gave in the game three. But yeah, because it was a shutout going into that inning. But yeah, that inning wasn't very good. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like their bats need to wake up a bit. Their home opener, when they only managed 3 runs, and it was off their 8 and 9 hitters, each hit a home run. So yeah, we still haven't seen a whole lot from the offensive side. So if pitching
No.
holds up like it is, and the offense wakes up a little bit, they should be in good shape for the season. Really,
Mhm.
if those things can happen.
Yeah, it's and they did bring the fences in at Kaufman, but I think the home runs that were hit by Collins and by
Isbell.
Isbell, they both would have been home runs last year as well. So it wasn't
Yes.
the park factors
I
that
I
affected
think
things.
both home runs cleared the bullpens even, so neither of them were that close even. Yeah,
So
easily home runs with the old fences.
you attended the game.
That
How
wasn't it.
was the stadium experience at Kaufman this year? Was there anything new that fans could expect, or was there anything different that besides the fences moved in a little bit? Was
Um,
or was it basically the same old?
it was pretty much the same. I mean, opening day is a different animal than pretty much every other game of the season because it's sold out. It's during the day, so it's like mostly adults that are there. A lot fewer kids. This is a school day during the day. But yeah, I mean it's always a fun atmosphere. Everybody's there, excited, wanting to see like how the team does early on. Uh, there is a new uh culinary challenge apparently that's going around the baseball stadiums. The Royals are one of the teams that are participating this year. Mike, how interested would you be in attempting the 999 challenge? Have you heard about this?
I think something about it. Was it 9 beers, 9 hot dogs,
Nine
and
hot dogs in 9 innings. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
that seemed like something that you'd expect franchises to be pushing
No,
as a
I don't
challenge.
think they'd be pushing the nine. Maybe subtly they want the nine beers, but you would say that, they don't want to, encourage drunkenness. But
Right.
yeah, I wouldn't want. I couldn't eat nine hot dogs in a.
So I did find out a little bit. I couldn't find it in any of the concessions. I don't know where, if it's only at like one place you can get it, but it looks like it comes like in a box. It's actually like a box. It has all of it at one time, which seems
Hmm.
like it's much worse though too, right? I mean,
Yeah, the hot dogs would be cold by the ninth inning and stuff.
and the beers would be warm, right? So like that neither thing is going to be the temperature you want by the time you get to the
Yeah.
eighth, ninth, seventh, eighth, ninth of either of those things, right? But the beers weren't like the full like stadium beers or like the big
Oh.
like 24-ounce cans or something. It was like, draft pours of
Hmm.
smaller volumes, but I don't know what the volume was. I didn't see anybody doing like,
Oh, it says
participating in the challenge, and I didn't see it on a menu anywhere at any of the concession stands either. So I haven't.
Aramark has paired with Joey Chestnut to produce the 999 challenge. Uh, introduced at Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia during the 2025 postseason.
Yeah,
It's available at Citi Field, Citizens Bank Park, Coors Field, uh, Dakin Park. Where's
that's in
that?
Houston, isn't it? I think that's in Houston.
Houston, what Houston's called now.
I
Kauffman
think so.
Stadium. It's at the Double Dip Hoagies, section 247 is where the uh,
Oh, 240. That's on the middle deck. Okay. Yeah, I looked around for it, took several different concession stands, and there was no like mention of it anywhere. So
and then Oracle Park has it as well. But um, yeah, so it's one of Kauffman Stadium is one of six stadiums that are doing it. I guess probably ones that are Aramark uh, catered stadiums. So next time you go to section 247, Dr. Scaff, and you can get the 999.
I'll have to look for it. Yeah, because I was just
Yeah.
curious to see like what it would cost. Because like, what would you guess? I mean, nine stadium hot dogs, nine beers.
The beers aren't. I guess they said the beers are flight size, so they're not
Right.
regular size beers. So you
But
could
even
say
at a
they're
stadium, like a smaller beer is still going to be like $5.
at least, yeah. So maybe nine hot dogs, nine beer. I would say it's gonna be at least $50 for all of it. Maybe $75 for
Yeah.
the.
I mean, if it's like you're just like doing it on your own, you would think it's going to cost more like, you know, maybe like $250 if it's like a full hot dog and a full
And a
beer,
full
right? If you're
beer.
getting just
Yeah,
nine of each,
$10. You guys think at least $10 for each beer,
at
and
least.
$12 for each beer.
Yeah.
Um, 4 or 5 for each hot dog.
Yeah, if it's even just the small hot dog, the smaller hot dogs.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what it's.
Because even I mean, there are like, Buck Night, something they had. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
still even doing that anymore, but they'd have like dollar hot dogs.
Hmm.
But so that side of it wouldn't be so expensive. But I don't know what the size of any of those things are. Maybe it is like the dollar hot dogs, which aren't, enormous or anything, but stadium dogs sometimes are foot long.
Hmm.
So you're not going out of your way to participate in this challenge though, Mike. Is that what you're saying?
No, I might find if there might be some other culinary things that I'd find at the Royal Stadium, but at
Before
Kauffman,
that.
but yeah. Um, because the stadium, they still don't know what's going to happen with the successor to Kauffman Stadium, right? There's no real plan in place to move anywhere. Again, I would think that Kauffman they should just keep it where it is. But if they're going to move downtown, they should do that too. That's the only place where I think they should move it is either downtown or within view of downtown.
Right.
Um,
Or leave it where it is. Don't
or leave it where it is.
maybe just renovate it or something if you need to.
Yeah, especially if the Chiefs are leaving to go to Legends,
Right.
which I think is another kind of I don't know, maybe another dumb move, but they're following the money.
It's good for them because the state of Kansas is going to give them everything. So financially, I think they're out almost nothing by making this move.
But yeah, it
And
seems like most stadiums are that are being built near in or near downtowns, rather than I guess some are going out to the suburbs, but like it seems like that's where the I don't know where the cooler stadiums are. They're closer in, and you can have the yeah. So I would prefer it downtown. Uh,
yeah, if they're going to
location
move it, they should
if
move
they're
it
gonna
because
move.
the population center is actually sort of, moved downtown because, when we were in high school, like there was basically no one living downtown at that time. But in
Hmm.
the last 20 years, downtown has actually been like converted into a lot of like city living lofts. So there actually is a large population center in downtown that would be easy to support a stadium there. And you wouldn't need quite as much parking as you would.
And you lived
Um,
downtown for several of those years in different locations.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a totally different city after coming back from college. Kansas City. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
the Royals are the well, we'll see if the Royals are a totally different team from last year when they failed to make the playoffs. Maybe hopefully they can squeak into the playoffs this year. But right now, 2-2. Uh, yeah, no, yeah, it's been 2-2 without, like you said, without really a hot start by the offense. They haven't done a whole lot. Been pitching. The pitching's been pretty good. Other
yeah,
than the Estevez, I think the bullpen has been pretty good.
yeah.
Um, so.
Very, really, really good. Honestly, without taking out that one inning. Yeah, they would have only given up 8 runs in the 4 games outside of that one inning. But they only scored 9 runs though too, so it's
Mm.
being 2-2. It's about right.
Yeah.
Are you
No.
surprised that being only 5 games into the season that there are no undefeated or unwinning teams in Major League Baseball already?
Yeah, it's a little surprising. You think just by the odds there would be some teams that wouldn't have won yet or would
Yeah,
have.
maybe one on each side.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's only
I'm just glad it's not the Royals that are that were 0 didn't start 0-4.
right.
So
Maybe one of the bigger things, like stories over the first couple of games in Major League Baseball, though. What do you think of the ABS system, the challenge for balls and strikes calls? Mike, have you enjoyed watching any of that, or
yeah, well, it shows how close the calls are. It seems
yeah,
like the ones that were called strikes or balls that were reversed were just ones that barely, maybe a quarter of an inch were either too
fraction
low.
of inch? Yeah, it's definitely
It was so it kind of shows how the umpires seem to have been getting better in some ways, or they're calling balls and strikes pretty well, but without the automated system. So, but the automated system kind of keeps it goes pretty fast too. It's a little bit like the Hawkeye system in tennis and stuff like that. So
right.
yeah, it's been I've enjoyed watching it, and it hasn't slowed the game down too much, and uh, seems like the catchers are better at knowing the strike zone than the hitters are. I think they've been more successful in their challenges than the batters have been.
Yeah, and I think there were a couple of umpires that have been sort of known for not being the best at calling strikes that are in the zone, have gotten sort of called out a little heavier than some other umpires have too.
Hmm.
Like it's really just like umpires that we kind of are, know to be not the best umpires, or being shown to be not the best umpires under this new system then too.
Yeah,
But
we'll see
but but
how it.
Sal had a really good success rating over the first couple of games. Like he asked for a few reviews and
Mhm.
won at least the first four. I think he missed one in the last game late,
Yeah,
but
I think it'll also make the idea of pitch framing not as important because that's historically what I guess
right.
what was not done as well, which is faking balls and strikes,
Right.
or pretending balls are strikes, or presenting strikes in a better way than other catchers do, which always seemed a little bit disingenuous to me. But now with the new system, I think it won't matter as much, and a lot of that has, I think, hurt Salvador Perez's, some ways his Hall of Fame candidacy. His WAR, has gone down. I think his pitch framing was a big part of catcher WAR, wins above replacement in some of the systems. And Perez was viewed as very good at that, so that really hurt him, I think, in defensive metrics. But maybe they'll reconsider some of that stuff now, and it'll help Salvador. I want to see him become a Hall of Fame player. I think he uh, is a borderline candidate, and of course, I want to see him get
I
in.
think he's like moving up, like in the home run totals for the like Hall of Fame candidate catchers. I think he's getting like, close to, being in that, grouped with a lot of the Hall of Famers. Let's see where they are. LaSalle's eighth all time already as home runs by catcher, and he
Mm.
has uh if you can get if you can hit 21 home runs this season, you would be fifth all time as the catcher for home runs. Does that does that help you make your case for Sal as Hall of Fame bound?
Yeah, I think one series is uh, catcher base throwing out base stealers. I think if he gets a few more home runs here and there,
Yeah,
that'll put him up, that'll put him over the top, I think. Uh, I think he's since Carlos Beltran made it in, I thought
mhm,
I I didn't think of Beltran as being a surefire Hall of Fame player, but
yeah.
um, I think Perez is a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know if he's a better player than Beltran is, but um, Beltran had some really good years. But so did Perez. He's been regarded as maybe the top one of the top catchers for most of his career. Um, and so we'll see. Yeah, I guess maybe 50-50, probably his odds.
I
I'm
think
not
it
sure.
probably helps too that he is very likable, and I'm sure a lot of the voters are will view him
Mhm.
positively just because he's so likable.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always
'Cause it-
positive and upbeat and
yeah,
uh, jovial.
because there
He's
are
a
some players that have always like rubbed certain voters the wrong way. Like I mean, even Beltran had uh, some scandals towards the end of his career with being part of that Houston's
Mhm.
ball strike uh, uh, scandal in the playoffs, right? With the banging on the trash can. He was supposedly involved in that.
Yeah.
But, you know, but there are things that like, certain players aren't necessarily uh, viewed as being likable, I guess, to like as many of the voters as others are too.
Yeah, I think that it helps be likable. I think that especially gives you, this is the media that votes on the players, so they want some people that are kind to members of the media, and that kind of
Yeah,
push. I think it will push some people over the top or kind of keep some people out.
right.
Um,
Yeah, it is because it is like the sports broadcasters, sports writers, sports broadcasters, right? That are
mhm.
the voting population for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Baseball writers in America, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
BBWA.
yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, so we'll see how the Royals turn out. We'll see what happens next week with the Royals. We'll see what happens next week with college basketball. We'll have NCAA champion two of them crowned by next week. Anything else you want to talk about in the world of sports, or are we going to wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour a little bit early?
I think that's it for today. Yeah.
Yeah, we have. I guess we have some bigger things coming up later. We have the NFL draft coming up later in April, about 3 weeks. We have Major League Baseball season continuing. We have um, this spring and summer the NHL and NBA playoffs beginning. We also will have the World Cup of soccer coming this summer. So that might be something we can talk about in the Power Hour as well. So we have a lot of things coming up, but right now it
Some
seems like
some games in Kansas City even for
yeah.
the World Cup.
Are you gonna try to go to a game?
I'm not planning on trying to go. Something happens and a ticket falls in my lap, I'm probably gonna go. But
Yeah,
I don't know that that's something that's gonna be just available to me to be able to go.
yeah. It's probably gonna be tough to get tickets.
Pretty sure. Especially depending on some of the teams that are gonna be there. If there are some surprise exits, then uh, maybe it'll be a little easier to get a uh, first of the knockout round games or something, right? If it's surprise teams, something like that.
Yeah, maybe that'd be one of those, or maybe you'll be like, well, since with stuff going on in Iran right now, maybe if Iran, there weren't going to be too many Iranian fans in attendance.
Probably
Uh,
not.
so maybe if are they playing a game in Kansas City?
I
I
think
think
so. I think they're in the group that Kansas City is hosting. But I
yeah.
think I think in there's like a quarterfinal game that if everything lines up, it could be like a Portugal and Argentina matchup.
Mm,
Could be
that'd
in Kansas City, but it's like there's like so many things that have to happen for those two to end up being paired in Kansas City. But that is one of the possible matchups that comes up. I think in the quarterfinal game that can be played in Kansas City.
okay.
So if that happens, there will not be any tickets available for a reasonable price, Mike,
Hmm.
for that game, right?
No.
Right, Messi versus
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Are they both? Are they both going to be playing on the teams? Is Cristiano Ronaldo still?
Potentially, but yeah, I
Hmm,
mean, if they're both healthy at the time, I'm sure they'll be
yeah.
at least making appearances anyway, right?
Yeah.
Man,
Well, we have that to look forward to later this summer. We have a lot to look forward to coming up, but right now it seems like we have our broadcast today is coming to an end. Uh, 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 I am Michael Werman. He is Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Word Trek Power Hour. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast, available on many different podcast delivery platforms, including the one you're likely to be using right now. I think the podcasts are a little more popular than the YouTube channel at this moment. I've been listening to the podcast lately. I was listening to a lot of YouTube. That was my preferred rewatching method, but I think it's become it's I'm on Apple Podcasts now is what I usually listen
yeah,
to if I listen to us uh, uh,
you're just
bloviate.
listening to the show again to find new betting tips and stuff like that. Is that what you're looking
Betting
for?
tips just to see
Yeah.
how badly I did and where I could improve as a uh, podcaster.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's nice to listen. Yeah, I also love listening to the sound of my own voice. That's
There
really
you
what
go.
I'm trying to do. Uh, Listening to it at 1.3 speed. So it makes me sound a little bit smarter, I think, when I'm reaching for words, they come to me a little more quickly and sounds like I'm a little bit more articulate and intelligent than I otherwise might be since I'm speaking at 1.3 times my regular speech pattern. So that's what we got going for us. And you as well, Dr. Scaff, sound like a real intellectual at that speed as well. So
At
uh,
1.3, but
at one
not
point.
at one.
That one, we're still kind of grasping and uh, reaching for words that aren't quite coming to us. and it takes a little while. But if we 1.3, we feel like, oh, these guys are smart. They know what they're talking about. And
We just
yeah,
make that our native speed then. We'll just always publish it at 1.3x.
publish at 1.3. Yes, be like the chipmunks. It'd be really fast.
Yes. That's pretty. I think that what they've done now is that they've managed to speed it up without like the pitch going up, though, right? Isn't that like the big advancement in
Oh,
uh in
podcast.
yeah, well, just in like audio video, for just everything really. Like, so it's like I think that's been like the big deal is that they've increased the speed without the pitch going up, which is how it used to be, like when it was everything was on tape instead of on digital.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess that's true. I didn't think about that, but yeah, it'd be Alvin and the Chipmunks
Yes.
stuff when they did things really slow and then they sped it up to be the Chipmunks,
Right.
uh, and then it got really high and they
Correct.
speeded. But yeah, I don't think we sound particularly high. Our voices on the 1.3 we sound about the same to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, must be the case. I didn't really think about
Yeah.
that. But something else to think about going into next week, where we'll have another exciting episode of the Warren Trek Power Hour for all of you viewers and listeners out there. We appreciate your patronage, your listenership, your viewership. We also wish you the best of luck this weekend if you're making bets, as long as your bets do not conflict with ours. We aren't really making any new bets this weekend, so you can go hog wild and bet on whomever you like, whether it's in baseball or basketball or any of the other sports that are going on right now. Um, we wish you the best of luck. We thank you for your time with us, and we're happy that you've chosen to listen or watch the Morning Trek Power Hour. We are grateful for all of your support. So, uh, from us at the Morning Trek Power Hour, uh, to you at home, we wish you a good day.